In just a couple of hours, over 1 million commuters would have descended from their trains up to London and then taken the underground bus or Shanks pony to their place of work. Among them is Jenny Sayer. Why have I singled her out? Well, she doesn't know it yet, but she's about to take her company down. Just a few keystrokes. That's all it's going to take. And at the time, she wouldn't have been aware of their catastrophic implication. Actually, it could also be a there but for the grace of day for many of her fellow passengers. Indeed, some are about to initiate a similar descent into hell for the companies they work for. I know what you're thinking. Come on, their employers would have had cybersecurity measures in place to a greater or lesser extent, and you'd be right, up to a point. Because why is it that so many honest, decent people who want to do the right thing are blissfully unaware that they are about to become the unwitting servants of the threat actors? I'm Larry Dillner, editor of Decision Magazine, and with Michael Ramlakhan, Managing Director of Timeless IMS, let's have a conversation about this.
Thanks, Larry. Is this really an IT issue, or is it a people issue? Let me reassure everyone straight away, this isn't tech jargon, this isn't finger wagging, this is real, regular people like you and me. When you hear cyber attack, you picture a hoodie and a dark room overseas. Very scary. But the person who lets them in is usually someone just trying to do their job.
Really? I thought we were wise to the email from the proverbial Nigerian prince, you know, the ones asking us for our bank details so we can harbour 4 million of their wealth for a 20% cut.
Yeah, well, Larry, those were the easy days. Today, it's not stupidity that gets exploited. It's psychology. Hackers aren't geniuses. They're just very good at understanding how our brains work. They aim for one of three things: curiosity, worry, or ego. Let me give you some examples. You get an email, revealed your competitor's 2026 strategy. There's a blurred slide, an encrypted file, a whisper of intel inside. No urgency, no threats, just intrigue. So you click, boom. Not greed, professional curiosity.
Interesting. So how do they take aim with worry?
Well, then there's the message from what looks like your doctor or the NHS. It references a recent test. It says, click here to log into your NHS account. Suddenly, your brain isn't analysing risk, it's thinking, what if it's serious? What if I ignore this? Worry overrides caution.
You mentioned ego, which is a curious one.
Yeah, that's the third example, Larry. It says an email comes in, private invitation, exclusive advisory panel. You've been selected, shortlisted, recognised. It doesn't ask for money. It offers prestige. So you click RSVP. Suddenly your credentials are gone. Malware's installed. It's not hacking systems, it's hacking emotions.
Well, so why do we fall for it, and how can we stop ourselves? Because in essence, what you're saying is that a company's cybersecurity procedures can be robust, but its people are its Achilles heel.
Hackers aren't geniuses. They're just really good at playing on how our brains work.
So they're not hacking systems first, they're hacking minds.
Exactly. Curiosity pulls you in. Worry rushes you. Flattery blinds you. The trick is simple. Slow down. The hackers win because they understand us better than we sometimes understand ourselves. My advice, pause before you click, folks. Verify the source another way. Your brain's shortcuts are their favourite exploit.
So the threat actors, whether they're coming at us by text or email or phone, they want us to react fast before we think. So I'm supposing the simplest fix is also the strongest. I just need to pause one extra second and think, does this feel right?
Exactly, Larry. It has to be at the forefront of our thinking. These tricks work because they exploit how our brains are wired. You don't need to be technical. You need 3 habits. So let me share just a few easy things anyone can do today. The first one, if an email or text or message feels weird, just don't click anything. The message there is pause and forward. If something feels off, pause. Don't click it. Forward it on to IT or a trusted colleague. Red flags could be slightly wrong email domain, heavy urgency, odd request, generic greeting. So always trust your instinct.
Okay, then what?
Well, here's a second easy win against the cyber criminals. It's called multi-factor authentication, proper MFA for short, on every important account you have today. Proper multi-factor authentication is not just text messages. You must use app-based multi-factor authentication. It's the single biggest barrier against credential theft. Even if your password is stolen, they can't get in. Think of it like a deadbolt on the door.
I think that's a really good analogy. And the third,
Verify via a second channel. Is your boss asking for an urgent payment? Just call them. If there's a text about a family emergency, ring them, ring directly. Threat actors hate this because their power relies on you staying in their channel. One out of band check kills the scam dead.
I've got to say, it does sound a bit obvious now you mention it.
Hackers count on speed and emotion. If security feels like an imposition, people work around it. But when it becomes culture, everything changes. No drama, just awareness. So if something looks off, just say something. No embarrassment, no blame.
I suppose that companies, and their MSPs for that matter, will focus on training relating to the cybersecurity technology, the software. And I'm also guessing if the MSP is a provider of transactional services rather than having a relationship based on delivering growth and resilience for the customer, then that's also giving the threat actors an opportunity. I tell you what I mean. There was an MD of a wholesale business, and he heard that a competitor had been the victim of a hack. Now, understandably, he calls his MSP to ask if everything is up to speed with the cybersecurity they've put in place with him. Just as an aside, that should have sounded a warning bell, because the MSP's response should have been, yes, of course it is. And the response would have been thus because they're on top of it. Cybersecurity, I think, shouldn't be a transactional service they've provided, along with the help desk. Cybersecurity is an intrinsic part of an ongoing relationship. Now, as it happens, the MSP came back to say there are a number of additional measures the company probably needed to apply. And of course, the MD responded with a purchase order. A week later, he's a little bit anxious about a drop-off in customer satisfaction figures. But the following week, everything seemed back to normal. The following month, he was scheduled to spend a day embedded in the warehouse, something he did every quarter, which is when he realized the reason for the customer service blip was that the MSP's cybersecurity fix had taken no account of his company's modus operandi or the customer expectations. It'd just been a transactional sale. And the reason things got back to normal so quickly is because when staff told their manager that it was taking them too long to fulfill the orders, they were just told to get on with it. So they decided to circumvent what had been put in place. And that made the MD realize that he'd actually paid the MSP to be less secure and more vulnerable.
I think if a company builds a culture where everyone's pulling in the same direction, then with the right training, people stop seeing cybersecurity as some annoying imposition. Instead, it becomes a shared tool that keeps the whole business on track, protected, productive, and most importantly, ahead of the game. Nobody should feel embarrassed about wanting a quick heads up chat, whether they're suspicious or a dodgy sender, a weird urgency, or anything that just doesn't feel quite right.
Yeah, but it has to be a cultural response. It can't just be a few aware employees.
Absolutely correct. Culture is really important. Hackers count on speed and emotion, so you counter with pause and verification. Small habits beat big hacks. And here's the big shift. If humans are often the weakest link, we can also be the strongest defense. Cybersecurity isn't about being technical, it's about being intentional.
That's really helpful, Michael. Thank you. How about next time we look into how we can weave security into our everyday lives at home and at work without it feeling like a chore or some kind of burden?
Excellent, Larry. Stay tuned.